Okay, so there's nothing going on my screen, so that's good. Okay, so there's nothing going on my screen, so that's good. Close that, close that. Okay. Stream manager. Skip tutorial. Okay, no chatters yet. Where is my, oh, there it is. Okay. Is that going? Yeah, but it's too big. Okay. Is there, no, screen. Okay, so this is too big though, is it not? Properties, no. I don't know why that's happening. Be so fucking serious, I swear. And it won't let me copy transform. Add, what? No, I want to, this is so annoying. Like, I want to edit transform. Maybe window capture? Okay, yeah, that's better, but... Okay, okay, okay. We're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay. Okay, and then all my alerts are there. Okay, cool, I figured it out, cool. How are we doing? What's going on? Okay, no one can see. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, my screen is covered. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see if I can put on some music. Let's see. Of course with the ads, cool. Okay. I guess we could wait for people. What is one? One message. View stream. Having a crisp, delicious Dr. Pepper, as always. Do I have my VPN on? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Put that back on. Can I move my microphone? No. Okay, that's fine. Right there's good. Waiting for a couple of people to show up. Ooh. I heard an alert. What just went off? Do I have the alert box open? Alert box. Oh, I have to launch it. Launch. Show. Hi, bestie. Hi, bestie. Let me get the alert box launched. I think it should be working right now. I have I'm monitoring chat in my iPad off to the side. Maybe I can move it, actually. Nah, it's fine. It's fine where it is. Yeah, what's going on? What are we doing? How are we doing today? Is chat working, by the way? Like, is it coming up on the thing? I want to say no, because I could see it on the stream manager, but I can't see it on the screen for some reason. Let me see if I need to, like, put the stream key in. Back to dashboard. And copy. Then there it is. Okay. So I did that. Okay. I'm gonna click to copy widget URL. Then my alerts, properties. Okay. Alright, how are we doing? How are we doing? What's going on? That's there. Just sort of playing music until stuff picks up. Yeah, because I have like a couple of things that I plan to look at. Oh, this is just YouTube that's on right now. Like this article from the Trump campaign when they went to, well, not from the Trump campaign, it's from NPR. The Trump campaign when they went to Arlington National Cemetery, mostly because like he took part in a what does it say, wreath-laying ceremony to mark the 3rd anniversary of a suicide bombing in Kabul that killed 13 U.S. service members. Because I have taken part in a wreath-laying ceremony, and like, I don't know, I felt like I could give some perspective on that. And then this freakish thing that J.D. Vance said, where he's like, childless leaders disorient and disturb him, because I don't know why that was so funny when I saw that. I was like, I gotta know why this man is so tilted. And then I also wanted to look at this this video that ProPublica shared, which is part of a leak of documents that were obtained from the Heritage Foundation project about 2025. But the problem is that that's almost an hour long, so I don't know if we're gonna get to that. But we'll see. We'll see. So I guess we could start. I'm gonna do one more thing. Oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to link. Where did I? Okay, there it is. Copy. Paste. Oh, excuse me. I had a succulent meal for dinner. Let's see, I want to look at chat updated, I mean not chat, Twitch updated all of their stuff. So I want to see, messages held by auto model display here. Okay, cool. Yellow. Hi, bestie. What's going on? So I was talking about this a minute ago, but I have like 3 things that I wanted to talk about, because one of them I have personal experience with. The second one I just thought was really fucking funny. Like, look, I'm laughing just reading the fucking headline from the Rolling Stone. Like, this is insane. And then this specific Project 2025 training video, which was released by ProPublica as part of videos that were made by the Heritage Foundation to talk about Project 2025, because I saw a little snippet of it on another what's it called? Another YouTuber, who reacts to a lot of like political stuff, a lot of religious stuff, like, because he used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and so like he sort of like curated his channel around that, but he's expanded to like other stuff, and he was reacting to it, and I think like I overheard one of the things being like, you know, oh, well, when they say she, her, what they really mean is, and I'm just like, I don't think they really mean anything by that. I think it's just a pronoun to refer to somebody, right? Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a delay with chat, just because it's like I have my iPad to the side of me because I've moved my desk around, so like I might have to, you know, keep looking back at my iPad. Me when pronouns, no, exactly. Why is chat not working? I want to know why chat's not working. Widget, event list, chat box. I have to add to the current scene. Okay. I added that, did I not? Alright, give me 2 seconds to fix... Give me 2 seconds to fix chat really quick. I wish that there was a way to, like... I'll be lurking in the background. Oh, okay, see, now it's working! Okay, let me just fix that really quickly. Is the music cool? Is it too loud? If it is, just let me know, and I could change it, or whatever. Ooh, ah. Alright, let's see. I like the volume, it's pretty soft. Yeah, I might turn it up just a hair, because the problem is that on my computer, for some reason, like, I'll have the audio really, really low, and it'll still be stupidly fucking loud in my headphones, but then if I plug in my speakers, it's still, like, quiet? I don't know. Okay, so, let's see. Let's try 364. Okay, we're getting there. 2. 1. Too small. Let's try 250. 215? Okay. 210. Yeah, that works. Okay. Close, and then I gotta add my alert box. Oh, this one's gonna be a minute. Transform, edit, transform. Oh my goodness, why is it so squished? Settings. Open settings. Font size, let's take it down to like 16. Or maybe like 14. Shit. Okay. What was I just doing? Alert box. There we go. Transform, edit, transform. Oh, whoops. What did I just do? What did I just do? Window. Yeah, that works. Alert box. Transform, edit, transform. First of all, let's do this. Okay, let's bring that down. Damn, smaller still? Shit. Let's try 65. Okay, that mostly works. 63. I wish I could make it like 69 or something. That'd be really funny. Okay, I got some room. I got some room. Nope. Too much room. Perfect. Okay. Alright, now it's working. Awesome. Okay, let me get rid of... let me not get rid of it. Let me just leave it there. Yeah, I will make this a hair higher. The chat overlay and then where the comments pop up in the little box thing are misaligned. Yeah, let me see. Let me get rid of the second one and see, because I had one that I launched from the browser. Oh, I think I know why. It's gotta be like this. Which I guess is fine. Edit size. 300 maybe? Yeah, it's fine. I'll just leave it there. As long as it's big enough for people to, like, see it. Facebook Marketplace suddenly arrived. Yeah, don't worry about it. I will be here. Okay, cool. Actually, let me fuck around with the alert box real quick. Because... Okay, background color. I did make it black. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah, so, I can see it. Yeah, I forgot which window I opened it in. Okay, so this happened, August 28th, so that's 3 or 4 days ago. And I saw this okay, I was at the gym, and they had the news on, like, 2 of the TVs, and it was so crazy because, like, there was CNN on one TV and there was Fox News on another TV, and I'm looking at Fox News because it was in front of the treadmill that I was on, right? And they were talking about, I think, Kamala Harris and some speech that she gave, recent to that day. Like, I think she was talking to, or maybe giving an interview or something like that. And then they're just like, oh my god, she's ridiculous. This is, a sham run or whatever. And then, like, I look over at CNN and they're like, oh yeah, Donald Trump and one of his aides fucking assaulted somebody at a military cemetery. I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? So basically, because this is what happened. This is from NPR. It says 2 members of Donald Trump's campaign staff had a verbal and physical altercation Monday with an official at Arlington National Cemetery, where the former president participated in a wreath-laying ceremony. And then it says a source with knowledge of the incident said that the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump staffers from filming and photographing. In a section where recent U.S. casualties are buried, the source said Arlington officials had made clear that only cemetery staff members would be authorized to take photographs or film the area known as Section 60. When the cemetery official tried to prevent Donald Trump's campaign staff from entering Section 60, the campaign staff verbally abused and pushed the official aside, according to the source. And the only reason that I would really say anything about this, because, like, we know that this is how he behaves, we know this is how his dudes behave, right? The only reason I would say anything about this is because I participated in a wreath-laying ceremony when I was in middle school, right? So in the 8th grade, we had a trip to the East Coast where it was essentially like learning about all of these different American heritage sites and all of these American history sites. So we went to Arlington National Cemetery, we went to the area around the White House. For whatever reason, we didn't get a tour inside. Let's see what else. We went to the Library of Congress. We went to, I believe, the building where the representatives are. We went to Boston, where we saw Plymouth Rock. I'm trying to think of all the different places that we went. I believe we went to New York. I think we went on a tour where the boat passed by Liberty Island, which is where the Statue of Liberty is. We didn't go to Ellis Island, though. I wish we would have, but we did in high school, so it's fine. But yeah, like, we went to Arlington National Cemetery. My history teacher had I don't want to say contest, that's not what it was, but he was like, oh, like, there's going to be a special event going on. If you want to participate, write this essay. So I did, and then he picked it, right? And so it was me and 3 other kids who were chosen to take part in laying a wreath on the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, if you're not familiar, is basically like a space that is held at Arlington National Cemetery, which is a federal property where service members are buried, for remains of soldiers who were never claimed, they were unable to be identified, or their remains were never recovered. They are, missing in action, prisoners of war, etc., and things like that. And I got to participate in that ceremony, right? And so they were very clear that even if, like, our teachers and everything wanted to take pictures, they couldn't because they're not allowed, right? And they were like, I think, like, the event staff said to my teachers, like, hey, if you want pictures, if the kids' families want pictures, just let us know, and we'll give them to you, right? Like, there was no reason for him and his campaign staffers to have taken photos of the ceremony, because the people who are conducting the ceremony are already taking videos and photos. So, like, why was it so important that they had to be the ones to take the photos? And, if you look... Yeah, see, exactly. The fact that let's see what else. This is just more information. It says, he participated in an event to mark the 3rd anniversary of a deadly attack upon U.S. troops in Afghanistan. As U.S. forces withdrew from the country, 13 service members were killed in the attack. The Trump campaign has blamed President Biden and Vice President Harris, now the Democratic Party, oh my god, now the Democratic presidential nominee, for the chaotic withdrawal, right? And, like, they could have whatever opinion they want about that. That's not what I'm talking about. But it says, this is, oh my god. Then, one of the, a private photographer was permitted on the premises. This is a statement from the Trump campaign. It says, in a statement to NPR, Stephen Chung, the Trump campaign spokesman, strongly rejected the notion of a physical altercation, adding, "We are prepared to release footage if such defamatory claims are made. The fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual clearly suffering from a mental health episode." What? Decided to physically block members of President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony. The Trump campaign declined to make that footage immediately available. On Wednesday, the campaign released it. They have a TikTok account? No. Oh my god, no. Oh my god. They have Donald Trump's campaign as a fucking TikTok account. I'm gonna turn into a fucking oyster. Stop. Last Tuesday night, President Trump posted a photo on social media of the Gold Star families who had invited him in. In the post, the families thanked the president and said that they had invited the campaign to film, but filming there would contravene federal law which prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within the cemeteries. Huh? Yeah, I know. No, like, first of all, he's making a claim that, like, this person was clearly suffering from a mental health episode, which he has no proof of that, right? He has no proof that this person just randomly ran in there and tried to, like, intervene in a way that was not necessary, right? He is in one breath saying that they are defaming Donald Trump for, in their claim that, like, a staffer or somebody else, like, physically assaulted an employee of the cemetery, right? But then at the same time, they're defaming the person who was allegedly attacked by saying, like, oh, well, he's crazy anyway, so who cares? And it's just, like, that doesn't... If this was really about the solemnity of the occasion, you wouldn't really care if they didn't let you take photos or videos. You would just be able to make a statement saying, I participated in this ceremony, I did this, that, and the third, that's it. That's end of story, right? Obviously, this person is crazy. Yeah. I feel like it is so indicative of Donald Trump and the people that he has around him that their immediate thought when he does something wrong against somebody else, or that when somebody who's associated with him does something to somebody else, their first knee-jerk reaction is to be like, oh, well, you're crazy. Like, why should we believe you? You're crazy. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you allegedly say, and it says it right here in the article, oh, we're prepared to release footage if defamatory claims are made, but then it's like, oh, well, we're not going to make that footage available. No, it's just for us. Like, if that was true, if you allegedly have footage of this not happening, which is impossible, you can't prove a negative, if you allegedly have photos or videos or something of this altercation, and then you're like, well, this exonerates us, this makes us right, this proves that we're right, and whatever, and then you don't make that available for whatever reason, like, what's the point behind that? It's literally like, the fucking thing from Steamed Hams, where President Superintendent Chalmers, like, stands up while Skinner's kitchen is on fire behind him, and he's like, good lord, what is happening in there? And he's like, Aurora Borealis? May I see it? No, exactly. Ah, yes, there's more. Okay, of course JD Vance has something to say. Fucking jorkin de peanuts. At a campaign event Wednesday, Republican vice presidential candidate Jorkin de Penis Vance, I'm not calling him JD, I'm not calling him by his name, dismissed the story, saying, "The altercation at Arlington Cemetery is the media creating a story where I really don't think there is one. Apparently, somebody at Arlington Cemetery, some staff member, had a little disagreement with somebody, and the media has turned this into a national news story." It's a national news story because Arlington National Cemetery is one of the very few places in America that has a site of, like, it humanizes service members in a way that the federal government and the general praxis of the military-industrial complex doesn't. You know? Like, you go there and it is a very humane, it is a very emotional, very solemn space where anybody can go to another person, you know, if that person is open to talking to people, and just say, like, you know, "I'm sorry for your loss," or something like that. You know, but also when you're running for president, anything you do is a public news story. That's the nature of the beast. Obama tan suit is a news story. Yes, exactly. Like, he wants his cake to say, like, I can be able to do whatever, or he wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. You know? Does that make sense? He wants to be able to have all national eyes on him when he does something good, but then when he does something that's objectively bad and shitty, he wants to turn around and be like, "No, no, no, don't look at me. Oh my god, don't look at me." You know, like, it's so childish, and it's very, very selfish. You know, and I feel like it's so indicative of who he is as a person. Like, set aside the idea of his politics, set aside him as a concept. Him as a person is just incredibly selfish, attention-seeking, vain. I don't want to say narcissistic because that has a lot of baggage to it, and that's, you know, that's a whole other thing. But just, like, him as a person. This is so indicative of him as a person, you know? And then Arlington National Cemetery says, "No, we can confirm there was an incident. A report was filed." And then further statement says, "Federal law prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within Army National Military Cemeteries to include photographers, content creators, or any other persons attending for purposes or in direct support of a partisan political candidate's campaign. Arlington National Cemetery reinforced and widely shared this law and its prohibitions with all participants. To protect the identity of the individual involved, no further information about the incident is being released at this time." Like, I can remember when I went there for the wreath-laying ceremony afterward. My friends came over to me because we were all in the same tour group, and we're walking out, and we see this, like, service member sitting on a bench. He is clearly upset, you know, and he's in his dress uniform, and they were like, you know, "No, let's go over to him, let's, you know, thank him for his service, you know, ask if we can get a picture with him for the scrapbook," because, like, one of our projects for school, part of this trip, was to make a scrapbook of every single place that we went to. So it was, like, the Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian, I want to say it was the Museum of Natural History, but I don't think so. Plymouth Rock, you know, a bunch of different Civil War, Revolutionary War sites, you know, stuff like that. And so I was like, you know, I really don't think we should go over there and bother him, because he's obviously, like, taking a moment to grieve. You know, he was an older man. So, like, because I didn't want to go over there and, like, insert myself into this person's grief, right? And so my mom was like, "No, I think it's a good idea. I think, you know, we should stay here and just, you know, let him have that space to, like, sit on that bench and grieve whoever he's visiting," or something like that. And my friends were like, no, we have to go over there. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. And so, like, personal moment. Yeah, exactly. Like, you do not insert yourself as a person into the collective grief and emotional moments that you're participating in as, like, a participant, if that makes sense. You know, like, you're not going to turn around and whip your phone out and be like, you know, selfie moment with the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, you know, but he does that. He does that because that's the kind of person that he is. Everything has to be about him. And if it's not about him, he's going to make it about him. You know? Graveyard is not a scene setting. Exactly. And I remember when, you know, my friends go over to that service member, and I think, like, my teacher even said to them, like, "What are you doing? Leave him alone." You know, and they're like, "But, you know, we wanted to thank him for his service. We wanted a picture with him." And it's like, no, you didn't, man. you wanted to turn around and be like, look at me. I'm cool. I talked to a veteran in Arlington National Cemetery. And I'm like, that's not what the space is here for. That's not what it's here for. Because it's like, you can totally have whatever feelings you want about the military-industrial complex, the horrors of war. You can have all of those you can have all of those opinions. You can have all of those feelings. You absolutely can. But you do not then turn around and be like, I'm going to make this other person's grief, this other person's suffering, this other person's, in their mind, their sacrifice about me as an individual. Because that's just a whole other level of fucked up. Interacting with a graveyard like a theme park. Exactly. Like, because if you've ever been to Arlington National Cemetery, if people in chat have been to Arlington National Cemetery, it is not a happy place. Like, it's not dour, it's not scary, it's not like haunting or anything, but it is very I want to describe it as like an emotionally liminal space. Like, it is just acres upon acres of gravestones, grave markers, memorials, and things like that. And it is just like, you do not do that there, right? And it's not and I say this as somebody who, my family is veterans. My grandfather is a veteran of the Vietnam War. My aunt and my uncle are both veterans of the conflicts in the Middle East. Like, you don't go there with the express purpose of, like, virtue signaling or performing something. You go there to have a personal moment and then you leave. Like, that's, I don't know. It's definitely a quiet and somber place. Exactly. And, like, especially when it comes to I don't want to say apolitical. That's not necessarily it, because, like, it is a graveyard full of people who, for one reason or another, for one cause or another, gave their life in service to their country for whatever motivation. That is inherently political, right? But it is a politically neutral place, if that is an adequate thing to say, because, like, there are people who are buried there. They come from all faiths, all backgrounds, all economic classes, and, like, I don't know, you just don't go there to do what this man did. You don't go there to pick fights and draw attention to yourself, because especially, like, he is a person who's going there with the express purpose of pretending like he cares about people who were killed in a military conflict, even though he has a record, he has a history of saying that people who were killed in military conflicts, people who were captured, people who were missing in action, he calls them cowards, he calls them losers, he calls them, every name in the book, he calls them everything but a child of God. And it's like, why he went and he did this, it was not about participating in anything regarding service members. It was not about honoring anybody's sacrifice. It was about him. He wanted to make himself look good. And when this first came out on the news, I was driving with my mom, and it dawned on me that I'm like, oh, he did this after J.D. Vance got called out by the head of the VFW, one of America's only, or I shouldn't say only, one of America's largest, like, veterans social groups, veterans support groups, veterans groups in general, I'll say that. J.D. Vance got called out by the head of the VFW for alleging that, like, Tim Walz is committing stolen valor, and then him putting on and saying, like, no, I'm a better army man than Tim Walz is. And the head of the VFW was like, man, fuck you. Like, you don't talk that way about your brother in arms, And I feel like this is the reason that he did that. But in Donald Trump's mind, he cannot let it be about anybody else but himself. So then he allows people to do whatever the fuck that they want in order to make that about himself. Because, he's rotten in the skull. I don't know. It should at least be a political neutral space. Often it isn't, but that's another topic. Yeah, totally. No, I agree. So this is that. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm going to take a sip of my Dr. Pepper. I'm not advertising by Panda Express by holding my cup like that, I promise. Just picking it up, because the way that I pick up cups, I pick it up like this, and I don't know why, because, like, I'm holding on to it, but, like, it's such a bottom-heavy drink, such a bottom-heavy cup, so I, like, hold it? I don't know. Okay. So this is from the 27th, so the day before that. Resurface. What is this? What is happening with this? To reload it? Oh, I see. Okay. Allow ads? Do I not allow ads? Click on the shield icon on the left side of the address bar. I don't have a shield icon. What? Left side of the address bar. I'm on the left side. Okay. Does that mean I can do it now, or what? Oh, still no. Okay. Alright, we're gonna pull a 12foot.io. Because really, this is a really helpful tool, actually. Dangerous game. Yeah, I know. This is a really helpful tool, actually, if there's something that I need that is behind a paywall, or something that I want to read that's behind a paywall. I will put it through this website, and then what it does is that, not that it takes the ads out necessarily, but it circumnavigates the paywall in order for you to read it. So yeah, we're going to be reading off of 12foot.io. I like it. I've used it very frequently. Yeah. So, we all know that JD Vance is very, very fucking weird about people who don't want to have children, or people who just don't have children in general, right? Recently, I think, besides this is the thing that I am going to say is before the thing that's in this article. And it was allegedly, people were going to Donald Trump rallies, and bringing, like, sperm donation cups. This is gonna be a little gross, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry. They were bringing sperm donation cups with JD Vance's face on it that were, like, JD Vance's family starter kit. And it had stuff in it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And it's, if there was, like, actually stuff in it, but, I went to Snopes, because I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way, dude. And so I contacted them, and I was like, is this real? Is this real? What's happening? And so they're like, yeah, we got it, don't worry about it. And so, like, I went to an article, and it's like, they can't substantiate that this did in fact happen at a Trump rally, because they were trying to, I think what it said in the Snopes article is that they were trying to source the images, trying to pin down, like, when this would have happened, if there was an event that people went and they did this and they couldn't, but, like, there are pictures, right? So then it's like, I don't know. But then this happened, where it says, resurfaced audio is once again reminding us of JD Vance's weird obsession with Americans choosing not to have children. Center for Christian Virtue. I swear to God, I thought it said Vision Forum, and I was like, so it says, during a forum held by the Center for Christian Virtue in 2021, Vance attacked Democratic leaders and American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten for not having children and accused him of brainwashing students. Weingarten is a mother by marriage, so, like, she has kids, so, like, what's his fucking problem? I don't understand this. Like, it's the same reason why I don't get why they're attacking Kamala Harris for being childless, when she is a mother. She is someone's stepmother. Like, she has kids. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then he says, let's see, when responding to a question regarding the state's backpack bill, legislation that would expand tax-funded scholarships to private schools and homeschool students in grades K through 12, Vance took the opportunity to tout his disdain for people who don't have children. So this is a direct quote from the, does that have the soundbite? Oh, it has the tweet. Okay. Open link in new tab. We'll read that in a minute. I'm gonna copy link. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna open that. Oh, I have to type it in by hand. Blech. Okay, HTTPS. t.co /dive QE 2B. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the music for a brief minute just so we could hear this. Okay, it's all the way up.
And I think our conservative idea is that parents and families should determine what children learn, what values they are brought up with. You know, so many of the leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but they're people without kids trying to brainwash the minds of our children. And that really disorients me and it really disturbs me. Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teachers union in the country, she doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone. And I think...
Okay, so that doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any sense for him to say that. So I'm gonna read through the quote, just in case, like, because for some reason, the audio is blown to shit. I don't know, for whatever reason. But he says, so many leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but they're people without kids trying to brainwash the minds of our children. And that really disorients me. It really disturbs me. The then Ohio State Senate candidate, okay, so this is back from when he was running for senator. Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teachers union in the country, she doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours alone. But, see, here's the thing that I really don't understand is, A, their obsession with, like, having, like, the only way you get to call yourself a parent is if you physically push the kid out of your cooter. I don't get that, because she has children. Like, she married into a relationship where there are already children existing, and she is raising and mothering those children, so those are her kids. Like, I don't get it. But then the other thing I don't understand is, like, when he says, first of all, they are people without kids, he is making a very declarative statement saying that the leaders of the left, which is like, the left is not one cohesive political group. I don't think he understands that. Or maybe he's being deliberately obtuse about it. I don't know. But, like, the leaders of oh my god. He's making a claim saying that the leaders of the left are people without children, which is, if that's the claim he's gonna make, then he needs to provide some proof with that. He needs to provide me with proof that A, there are leaders of a group called the left, and B, that none of them have children. He has to prove that. But he does, in his mind, he doesn't have to, because he's just saying shit. He's just talking out of his ass. Doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children. The other thing that I don't understand is that as a person who's a part of a society, aren't you like obligated to care about like what's gonna happen to like the younger people in your society as fellow human beings? Like, I as a person, I am not a parent, I am not partnered at the moment, right? Like, I'm neither of those things at the moment. But like, I still care about the fact that there are children in this country who go to sleep hungry. I care about the fact that there are children in this country whose parents cannot afford to keep a roof over their head even though they're working full-time jobs. You know, like, I care about the fact that there are children in this country who are being kicked out of their homes, who are being abused, who are being just relentlessly harmed by the people around them because they are either disabled, queer, trans, or, you know, something that they can't control. I care about that because I'm a human being and children are human beings. Like, I don't understand how he can sit there and be like, if you care about kids and you don't have them, then you're a freak. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. The man has no empathy, I think. Or maybe he did, and at some point he just shit too hard, and it came, like, it's gone now. I don't know. Let's see. Weingarten, who along with the union supports radical ideas such as promoting literacy and mental health and free school meals. Exactly. Like, he is a part of a party with a political ideology, with a praxis that does not believe that children should be fed. They do not believe that children should have roofs over their heads. Actually, let me rephrase that. So many conservatives, so many Republicans, just the general praxis of the establishment Republican Party at this moment, they do not believe that children have a right to food or water or medicine. They do not believe that children have a right to be educated in a meaningful way, right? They do not believe that children have the right to safe home environments. They don't believe that children have the right to homes at all. So, like, how then do they say we care about children more for not caring about all those other things? You know, like, it just, I don't know. And exactly, Randy Weingarten turns around and says, J.D. Vance's comments are sad and insulting to millions of modern families and school teachers, including Catholic nuns, none of whom should be targeted for their family decisions. Like, exactly, if you go to a religious school, which a lot of private schools are, and teachers are nuns or other holy people, I don't want to say holy people, they are members of the clergy who either cannot be married, cannot have children, or some other condition is put on them being in that position and also being a teacher, like, you're basically telling them, get fucked. You know, and I don't know. I don't get that. I really don't. In response to, okay, this is his response to the audio. Vance spokesperson Taylor Van Kirk provided a statement to Rolling Stone in response to the audio. He says, there is no bigger threat to American children than the left-wing indoctrination being forced into our schools by lead slave Randy Weingarten with the support of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There are a lot of great teachers across the country. See, again, they are making a claim that, quote, the left wing is indoctrinating children, but they are not giving you any sort of proof, any sort of empathy injection via ass. Yeah, exactly. The problem is that they're saying all of these things, right? They're saying, oh, the left this, the left that, but they're not giving you any sort of claims. They're just sort of saying shit, right? They're just talking shit. And, like, I don't understand that in the least. You know, like, I feel like they have, I don't want to say they, because maybe there are people in the Republican Party who do, maybe there are conservatives who do, maybe. But Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they have no intellectual integrity. Like, they will just say shit, and it's just expected that you believe them. Like, on a basis of what? I don't need to believe shit, you know? The right isn't about proof, it's about confirming your own fears and hearing what you want to hear. Exactly. Like, I don't want to say it's confirmation bias, because that's not necessarily true, but it's like, it's some sort of logical fallacy where you're like, well, believe me, because I told you, and I told you, so it's true. You know, like, there's some sort of weird logical, I don't want to say trickery, some sort of weird logical bullshit that they're pulling. See, and then again, while Vance would posture as a pro-childbirth, pro-family person, he has openly opposed policies aimed at making it financially easier for Americans to become parents. Because 3 years ago, he said universal daycare is a class war. Oh my god. Universal daycare is a class war against normal people. What the fuck? Which included provisions to reauthorize the expanded child tax credit and provide paid family leave and universal pre-K. As a senator, Vance voted against legislation that would codify the right to fertility treatments and IVF. So, like, not only is he saying that you have to have children, but he's like, we're also not going to make it easier for you to have children. We're going to make it, in fact, as hard as humanly possible. Like, what are you supposed to do as an individual? Like, let's say you sign on to that ideology, you implement that in your own real life. What are you supposed to do when you can't care for this child that you felt, not compelled, that you felt forced to have? You know, you felt like a moral obligation to have this child. What happens when you can't feed that child? What happens when nobody's there to take care of that child because there's no money, so you have to go out and work? Like, it's a paradox. It doesn't make any sense. These people don't make any sense. Okay. So I'm going to let's take like a 5-minute palate cleanser. I don't know, what's something funny? We'll just leave the music on for a minute. The audience already wants to believe them. It's a weird psych thing for sure. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. There's gotta be, like, some sort of, I don't want to, like, do a psychological profile, because I'm not a psych person at all. But, like, there has to be something that compels the belief in something that you cannot prove. Like, I know Tucker Carlson very recently, he went on I don't think he called into Alex Jones's show. before that. I think there was a clip of him somewhere, something, where he says, you know, oh, well, I can't prove it, but, you know, and he just talks out of his ass for like 5 full minutes. And it's like, if you can't prove this, then why the fuck should I believe you? If you can't prove this, then what logical standing do you have to be making any sort of claim? If you can't prove this thing that you're saying is so totally real, like, just trust me, like, what kind of intellectual integrity do you have? You don't have any. You know, it's almost like the right wing is weird or something. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so let's take, I don't know, 5 minutes to talk about something else. I don't know. Because the next thing that I have here is, again, a video that is, it's titled Project 2025 Private Training Video, Left-Wing Code Words and Language. And this is from ProPublica. And yeah, these are just like, I don't want to say it's a leak, but it is, they were documents that were obtained by both ProPublica and an organization called Documented from the Heritage Foundation. So, yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm wondering, okay, would it be, as a palate cleanser, would it be weird for me to like just load up a bunch of like TikToks that I enjoyed looking at earlier? Cuz like the subject matter of this, I don't want to say it's heavy, but like it is fraught with like a bunch of shit. Like, I can't, like, I watch these and it's not that I get like overly anxious, it's not that I get upset, it's not that I get like depressed or anything about like the state of the world, because there are, like, the fact that ProPublica released this and they're like, no, we're making this available for everybody to see because people need to understand what's going on, like, I feel like that makes me feel a little bit more hopeful about what's going on, because there are people out there who are doing the work, who are trying to bring this into the public eye with the intent of educating, with the intent of getting people to be aware of what's going on around them. Do a word search. Yeah, did I already do, you know what, yeah, let's do USA Today crossword. We're gonna do a crossword. And then when I'm done with the crossword, we'll move on. Okay. You're crazy at those. Yeah, I was doing the New York, not the New York Times, the New Yorker crossword earlier. But the New Yorker, they do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with a full crossword, and then Thursday, Friday, they do like a little mini crossword. I want like a whole crossword. Okay, cool. Vessels for frying. No. Pot. Pans. Okay. Golf course numbers. Pars. I don't know what that is. Laceless shoes. No. Slip-ons. Okay. Walk. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put my iPad up here, because I can't. Okay. Infinitely better. Infinitely better right here. Okay. Ah! Why is it not? Like this, maybe? 3 down is Nori. Ah, yes, okay. So ready. What? Insects in a pantry. Ants. Cool. UFO. Dog. Art chef. Nodes. Ants. Ants, yes. Everybody have an ant moment. Certain to enroll. Sign up. Sign up? Sign on. That's dumb. Yeah, everybody put an ant in chat. At least one. Ant. Ant, ant, ant. No, is it not letting you do the ant emote? Ugh, it sucks. Negative press. Is it bad that when it said negative press, my mind said push? Oh, I was reading this as... No, okay. Never mind. Left out. Wee. When doubled, fish, aka Dorado. What? Aces. Wait, wooden some surfboards. Birch? No. Oh, Leia mentioned in the USA Today crossword. Yes. I love Leia. She's fantastic. I hate that Ben Shapiro thinks he can pull her. That's crazy. The past 3 crosswords on the New Yorker, and this one on USA Today, they all keep putting ass in there. What's with that? Belgrade resident. Okay. I don't know. I hate when they put like actors' names in there, cause I don't be knowing people sometimes. Oh, bad PR. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're getting there. Nautics device that a deaf person may use for a phone call. No. T. I don't know. Lightweight boat. I don't know. I don't know boats. I'm not a boat guy. I hate also that they don't let you, like, reveal the letter. Like, you have a limited number of help things, which blows. Catamaran. No, it's, this one. A, okay, we're getting there. Can... Oh, I know this one now. Left out, omitted, there we go. Sailboat. No, it's C-A-N. I don't know. Legally yield. Oh, I know this one. Just bip and bop around until I figure it out. Word before hole or twist. Oh, canoe? Yes? Yeah! Yay! Thank you. Word before hole or twist. That's salacious. USA Today. Sat for a photo. Oh, posed? No. Damn it, I hate when I make a typo and then it's like, nope, 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 nope. Whole plot? Maybe? Yeah! Yay! Okay. Okay. Moat? No? Might. Okay. Pick that isn't candid shut. Ills. Noon. Gets. Damn, we're like flying now. Plot hole, plot twist. Okay. I keep forgetting that there's a delay, so like I'm seeing it and then I put it in, and then I'm like, no, we got that. Why are people still saying that? Silly. Rail. Okay. Oh, that's down. Okay. Manufacture. Create. City. Extracted like lead. Mind. Opened up. Darn internets. Oh no, I have I have an automatic delay, like it's a setting. Out of whack. I do like that word. I do like that word. Like some eyebrows and surfboards waxed. That's a good one. Edited. Did lapse. Exists. Isn't made up, exists. Okay. Not expressed aloud, but understood. Oh, whoops. Did it again, damn it. T. Apt name for a creative person. Not expressed aloud, but understood. No. I'm trying to think of what letter goes here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, we did it. Okay. 11 minutes. Okay. Let me check Discord. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Whew. Oh my goodness. Where's my other window? There it is. I'm in the same window. Why did I do that? Okay, so we're gonna move on to the Heritage Foundation's, ProPublica's video from the Heritage Foundation. I don't know how much of it we're gonna get through because I plan to be on like an hour and a half from 7, so that's 8:30, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get through it. I'm gonna put some subtitles on. We are publishing the videos unedited. Hold on. Why does YouTube think I have a major depressive disorder? Okay, so this is Kate Sullivan, former acting assistant attorney general, Office of Justice Programs, U.S. Department of Justice. Okay. All right, Katie.
Just a normal American woman.
I'm gonna lower the... No, it's down pretty low. I'm gonna make this louder.
That makes me a cisgendered ethno-imperialist.
Okay, let's go. Let's go back before I interrupted. Okay.
Hi, I'm Katie Sullivan, and just a normal American woman. But to the left, that makes me a cisgendered ethno-imperialist birthing person with pronouns she, her.
This is okay. We're not even, 30 seconds in, and already the vid is really quiet. Okay, let me make it louder. I don't think... There's so much to unpack with this. When they say, oh, the left thinks that I'm an ethno-imperialist, I've never heard anyone use that word in my whole fucking life. Is this a deep fake? No, unfortunately not. This is real. She looks so strange. I think it's because she's, like, the thing that she's reading off of is not directly in front of her, so it kind of looks like she's turned this way, but she's looking this way. You know, like, it's a weird angle, I think. Because her eyes are not pointed at the camera. They're pointed, like, somewhere off screen. But yeah, like, I have never heard somebody use the word ethno-imperialist. Like, I'm sure that it is a word, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. I want to say that she's referring to the fact that she worked for the Justice Department, and maybe, no, because that would be the Department of Defense. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this lady's talking about. And, like, I understand that there are some people who would want to use the word birthing person, but by and large, like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody force somebody to say, no, it's birthing person. Like, if you're a woman giving birth, a lot of people consider, like, they say, Lynn, like, oh, I'm gonna be a mom, or something like that, or, like, I'm gonna be a parent, or something like that. Like, I don't think I've ever heard the term birthing person, like, as a forced thing. Like, no, you have to use it. Never heard that. The right is all about making shit up under surprise. Yeah, exactly. Like, even when I was in college, like, undergrad, this was, like, peak, I don't want to say peak, because maybe it's not, but, like, this was 2016 to 2020, this was the Trump presidency, and there were people who were, like, you know, online, not that I went to school with, but just in the general online space, who were saying, like, oh, the left wants us to do this, they want us to do that. And I'm just like, I don't think they do, man. I think these are just suggestions that people would like to refer to other people with. But if they were to say, like, oh, no, I don't really, like, call myself cisgender, or, like, I just say I'm a woman, or something like that, then, like, that's fine. The only people that I've ever seen have a problem with any of these, like, suggested terms, like, is either people on the right or people who never go outside, regardless of political affiliation. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, met a normal person who just has a problem with that shit. Anyway, let me continue, because we're 30 seconds into a 49-minute video. We got a lot to cover.
Words like that are quite a mouthful, and it's one America needs to spit out before we choke on it.
See, that's the other thing, too. Like, I feel like the right wing is so obsessed with, like, aggressive, violent imagery that, like, talking and just saying words feels like a threat or an attack to these people, and I don't understand why. According to Big Biology, I'm a, quote, female homo sapien with genetic origins in Europe, eye roll emoji. No, exactly. Like, it's J.K. Rowling shit. Like, it is completely unnecessary word salad. And I just, I don't get it. That's a lot of words, it's gonna kill me. Yeah, they genuinely feel like words are going to, like, harm them in some way, as though they are physical things that they act like talking is spitting on you, and I don't get that. I do not get that at all.
In the eyes of many in the world, this every 4-year ceremony we accept as normal.
Oh, fuck you, they used Reagan!
In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving.
Me when I have no real problems, exactly.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
Okay, so you know why it's really, really important that JFK said that? Or, like, it is, the historical significance has to do with the fact that, like, up until that point, like, women and black people and any sort of other marginalized person could not participate in things like voting. They couldn't participate in the national defense. They couldn't participate in the systems that they were being forced to live under. And, like, I don't understand why they're throwing JFK into the mix when it comes to things like, the idea of America as a country and, like, the values that it stands for. Because if JFK ran today, they would turn around and be like, he's a communist, he's a fucking loser, he's a pussy, like, they would have gleefully celebrated him getting his head blown up. They would have. Because, like, for that time, JFK was, like, a pretty, I don't want to say radical, but, like, definitely not Nixon, And, like, I don't know. I hate that, like, they put this shit in there, because, like, they take clips of, like, presidents like JFK, they take clips of people completely out of context, and then they rewrite their own context for their own purposes, and that doesn't make any fucking sense.
This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive and will prosper.
Whether we go forward
Whoa. Wait a minute.
policies that we can
Wait a
Only
fucking
few
minute.
generations have been granted danger.
Did they?
together with leadership in the
Wait a
turn back the
fucking
policy.
minute. Hang on.
Has endured. Will
For them to put images of Ground Zero on 9/11, the day that it happened, when Republicans, by and large, have blocked every single bill that gives aid to firefighters, service members, first responders, survivors, in terms of, like, treating them medically or providing for them in any meaningful way, that's foul. I'm sorry, that's fucking foul. Like, that's fucking foul. Like, for them to purport this act of George W. Bush standing on the ground, on Ground Zero, even though Republicans do not want to support people who survived what happened that day in any meaningful way. When George W. Bush used that as an excuse to establish one of the most violent systems when it comes to border protection, like, I just, oh my god, this is propaganda at this point, right? Because they're taking imagery from something and they're co-opting it for their own purposes, devoid of any real context. Oh my god. Vile. Foul. I'm just gonna skip over this. Okay, so they titled this training material Hidden Meanings, Monsters in the Attic.
Bethany, are your children afraid of monsters in the attic or under the bed?
Yeah, they have been, but we always tell them that they do not exist.
Today we have news. There are monsters in Uncle Sam's attic.
It's the words, phrases, definitions that are used, which may look like one thing, but absolutely mean another.
What?
And it is scary.
During this training, we will identify the problem, discuss examples from our time in the federal government, as well as the 5 cross-cutting principles of the current administration. We will teach you how to unwind the words and phrases
Fear-mongering,
that have been so
classic, exactly. Like, they are comparing their children being afraid of the fucking boogeyman in their closet to words. Like, oh my god, they're comparing, like, a real material fear that a child may have to the discomfort that they feel about letters on a page. My god. Fucking... this has been said a million times before, but for people who claim that people on the left are full of, everybody's just a special snowflake, they're so triggered, they are fucking triggered all the goddamn time. Like, I can't imagine living this fucking existence where everything is frightening, everything is scary and anxiety-inducing and nerve-wracking, but for no fucking reason. Like, how do I articulate this? Like, I was in... there's a secret monster. They'll say he's not real, you will know better. Actually sowing seeds of delusion. Yeah, exactly. I want to say it's the logical fallacy of poisoning the well, because they're presenting it as something that it is inherently not, but then, like, that is their whole praxis, this organization, right? Like, the whole goal of Project 2025 is to completely dismantle the structure of the United States government and basically make it like a party of sycophants to Donald Trump who fully intends to rule as a dictator. Like, they want to reintroduce authoritarianism into the United States because they think that it's going to go their way. And for them to, like, and I think especially to the visual language of this video, where it is 2 middle-aged older white women who are they look very nice, their hair is done, they're very sweet, and they're sitting, like, with their legs crossed, their hands folded over each other, they're talking about their kids. Like, it is pulling on, like, a visual tradition of, like, oh, this is safe. This is a safe space for us to freak you the fuck out about nothing. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, ugh.
Every document in the federal government. You can do this in any role at any level of
reconnection successful. Okay, cool. Why am I pinging so low? Like, what's happening? Alright, let's see. Stream manager. Alright, are we back? Yeah, we're back. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Against the grain of human existence, like that was reduced to an assaults, definition, and fast. The left continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases. They twist words and phrases to support subconscious acceptance of a philosophy that was rejected or is against the grain of human existence.
Prove it. Prove that to me. Give me a study that has empirical data, give me something that has been peer-reviewed, give me something that has any sort of logical standing other than just, I'm scared of letters, of words. You know, and they can't, because it's like, it isn't actually like a subconscious, like, indoctrinating, brainwashing thing. It's literally just like, hey, maybe consider that the people around you are different from you. It's, hey, maybe have empathy for people who are different than you. And this is fully just like, no, you shouldn't have empathy for people who are different than you. You shouldn't care about people who are different than you. In fact, you should make everybody around you like you. And it's just, oh my God, so ridiculous.
Like, what is a woman? Perhaps the most...
If I ever catch Matt Walsh in the street, I'll just leave it at that. Like, the amount of times that I have heard that phrasing is just so annoying, right? Because, like, you're allowed to, like, how do I say this? Like, you do not walk around every single day with an identification card of what people are supposed to call you, you know? Like, you do not walk around every day with a badge that says woman, mother, you know, like, and that's effectively, like, I don't want to say what they want, because that's a whole other concept, but, like, they want people to, like, shove that in your face, just, like, performatively. They want to be able to normalize the performance of things for morality. And I don't get it. I don't understand. Let me make sure that folks are still in chat. 6 viewers. Okay. Yeah, no, we're still good. I had a disconnection moment there for a minute.
Effective tool the left wields is their ability to engage in constant subliminal advertising.
What the fuck does that mean?
Words and phrases. Marxism became socialism, then democratic socialism.
What?
And is now represented by the terms social justice and equity.
Prove that to me. Give me something from Merriam-Webster. Give me something from the Oxford English Dictionary. Give me something from fucking Google that's like, oh, actually, it's not Marxism anymore, it's this. It's not that anymore, it's this. Like, they can't do that. E.B. Gleeby. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all just fucking... Like, especially the thing with, like, what is a woman? The thing that really, like, I don't fully comprehend is, like, let's say... way back in millions of years ago, whatever, like, when they invented the words man and woman to describe the larger classification of people on a basis of, you know, body type or something like that. If they had called it Kiki and Booba, we'd still be having the same discussion. The actual material word woman doesn't mean anything. The actual, like, lettering of it does not mean anything. It's a concept. It's a construct, right? They could have fucking called it, you know, Geep Gop and Jim Jam or some shit, and we'd still be having the same fucking discussion.
This is perhaps the most scary of all.
Katie, what brings to mind is the quote, "He who controls the language rules the world." It's attributed to Joseph Stalin and other tyrants. And George Orwell stated, "He who controls language controls culture." Even more, Hitler and others lived by the creed. If you
Okay, so this is what they're doing here, right? Is that they are intentionally creating, I don't want to say comparing, that's not what it is. They're creating a false equivalency between, it's a clever tactic with a defense mechanism built in. You might say prove it IRL, but then the response is I can't because you're hiding it. Exactly. No, that's exactly it. It's like trying to prove a negative. You can't do it. And they're like, well, I can't prove it, but, like, I feel it, so just trust me. And it's like, no, I will not trust you. I will not trust you because you have no intellectual integrity whatsoever. Like, this video is just... I can't even articulate, like, the depth of just... Anyway. The thing, I can feel it, plus you're trying to choke me with words. Yeah, exactly. Like, when I was in college, like, when people would say, like, oh, well, we say this because, it was never, like, passive aggressive. It was never introduced to me with an idea of, like, you have to do it, or, like, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass or something like that. It was always like, well, no, because, like, what's a good way to describe it? Like, because that was when discourse over trans and cis was still going on. And it was like, oh, well, like, for people who this is important to them to make this distinction, like, no, I'm a trans man, I'm a trans woman. Like, for them, that experience is, you should have empathy and compassion for this person and their experience. And, like, if they say, like, hey, I'm a trans man, call me a trans man, like, yeah, just say that. Like, it's not gonna kill you or something. But if they're like, no, I'm like, I am trans, but I just say I'm a woman, and, like, it's, like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. If they try to listen to us at all, in their mind, they're being fooled, tricked, preyed upon, when unfortunately it's the exact opposite. Exactly. And I feel like so much of it is just, people are afraid of things they don't understand, right? People are afraid of things that are unfamiliar. They're afraid of new things because they're like, well, what if this is going to hurt me, right? And I don't think that is... I don't think it's necessarily their fault. I think it is part human evolution, that people are just, like, naturally afraid of things they don't understand. But at the same time, a large part of that is what we are taught to be afraid of, right? What we are taught that is not normal or new or different. Like, that, when that comes into play, then it becomes problematic, right? And, like, I remember well, let me backtrack. People on both sides of the aisle can be guilty of this as well, because, like, 99% of the time, it is, in my experience, conservatives who are the ones who are, like, trying to police people's language around themselves and shit like that. Like, if I were to say, like, oh, I'm agender, I'm non-binary, but I also say, like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a girl, like, very rarely have I ever heard somebody on the left turn around and be like, no, you have to refer to yourself this way, as opposed to when I have seen people engage with conservatives, they're like, no, you have to say this, you have to do this, you have to. Like, I feel like so much of it in that regard is projection. Because, like, I remember when I was in college, I was a freshman, and there was a class that I was taking because I really, really wanted to minor in rhetoric and media studies, right? But the thing is like, this sidetrack, I couldn't do that, mostly because the major and the minor program were the exact same workload. So I was essentially doing 2 majors and a minor. And so I'm just like, yeah, I can't do that. But in this class, like, I asked my professor to explain, like, one of the concepts to me because I wasn't quite understanding it. And so he said, oh, okay, well, let me explain it to you this way. And he says, so you are a woman, which means that in this context and against this person, like, that's... And so he's talking about that, and he's explaining it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's making sense. And so this girl just, like, turns around and stares at me. And it was just, like, very, very weird that I was just like, okay, like, why are you looking at me? Right? And so she's like... she sent me an email later where she's like, I just think that in those moments that you should really stand up for yourself and say something like that, which is like, that is maybe the one of 3 times in my whole life as an adult that has ever happened to me from somebody who is liberal, progressive, leftist, whatever you want to call it, right? But even when she said it, it was more along the lines of wanting me to advocate for myself as opposed to, I'm going to tell you who you are and you're going to sit there and take it. Like, the motivation behind policing words is inherently different, and the practice behind policing words on either side of the aisle is inherently different. It's because, like, when it comes to this, they're like, oh, well, if you say that, I should refer to myself by cisgender, or that I should understand myself in a certain way, you're fucking Hitler. Like, even if they were to compare people to Hitler, they don't actually care about what Hitler did for the most part. They use it as a tool. It's a concept. It's a thing to them. Because even Hitler as, like, an individual person, they don't really give a fuck about what he did or him in his cultural context. All they care about is using it as a tool to scare people into believing their ideology, into ascribing to their system of beliefs. Like, they're using the images of Stalin, they're using the image of George Orwell, they're using the image, the iconography, the concept of all of these people and what they have done and the way that people perceive them in a historical lens, just to turn around and say, like, no, I will not do this. Which is, like, it feels like projection in a way, because, like, all of the times that they say that the left is doing this, the left is doing that, the left, they're usually the ones doing it, right? Like, even just right here, they're saying that, like, oh, this is subliminal advertising, this is brainwashing, this is, what was that other fuck-ass shit that lady said? But, like, they're the ones who are doing the subliminal shit. Because here they are sitting down and they're like, oh, when they say this, that's not actually what that means. It actually means this other thing that you've never fucking heard of. Just a string of words that will never ever be said in your whole life. And it's just like, I don't know. Let's see. See, they haven't even... well, that's not necessarily ProPublica's fault. Going to give you... Are they going to get to the fucking words or what? Women, children, and family, environment, human rights, and border security. See, here's the other thing, too, is that they are using words, right? They're using very specific words in a very specific way. Like, first they say women, children, and family. So the image in your mind is not meant to be like, it is not meant to be like individual people. It is not meant to be like anybody, like an average person in society. It is specifically chosen with the intent of when the actual Hitler is literally Trump, i.e. dictator from day one. Exactly. These words are specifically chosen in a way that is meant to evoke an, what is it called? It's not empathetic? No. It's meant to evoke an emotional response based on what your perception of those words is, right? So they're predominantly talking to a conservative audience, and when they say women, children, and family, they want to evoke the emotional response of, like, these are vulnerable people, right? They want to evoke that response of, you know, women and children need to be protected, you know, they're under attack, because in a patriarchal society, in the patriarchal society that America is, we see women and children as inherently vulnerable, as inherently, like, constantly in danger, right? And even though that's not necessarily true in the context that they are saying. Because when they say women, children, and family are in danger, or they're talking about it in a certain way, they want you to think that, like, communists are coming to, like, murder your family. And that's not what's happening. You know, like, the concept of family is, you know, what they say, under attack or something like that. Because what they want to do away with the system of in vitro fertilization. They want to do away with the system of allowing people to receive birth control. They want to do away with the system of abortion. And that essentially means, like, you know, you're not allowed to dictate to yourself. You're not allowed to have any agency over yourself. Effectively, it is somebody else who has agency over yourself, which puts you in danger, right? But they don't see it like that. Or like when they say something like human rights and border security, these people don't give a fuck about human rights. Let's be real. Let's be so fucking real. Because if they gave a fuck about human rights, they would support legislation that banned child marriage. They would support legislation that allowed people to have a pathway to citizenship if they are quote unquote illegal in this country. You know, they would support things that eliminate child poverty, child hunger, child medical instability. You know, they would support legislation that allowed homeless people to receive resources to achieve homefulness or something like that. You know, like they would allow homeless people to receive things like job training or rehab if they so choose it, or they would allow them to have a fucking roof over their head, but they don't. You know, that's why it's, like, so obvious that when they say let me backtrack. That's why it's so obvious they're projecting, because, like, when they say things like, oh, the left is using words to attack people, and they're trying to get you to think, they're trying to misdirect your attention away from what they're really doing, they're the ones who are doing that. Alright, let me see what these fucking evil-ass words are.
The gender cult.
The gender cult.
Equity.
See, this is another thing, too. When they say equity, what does that refer to? What does it, like, what is wrong with people in society being equal on all counts? Like, I don't understand their problem with that. The gender cult, me when I call it my gender, exactly, like, I will be vulnerable for a minute, and I will say that, like, when I was, like, I have never in my whole life really conceived of myself in a way that is, like, the traditional understanding of, like, what girls are, or, like, who girls are, you know, like, I never felt like that fit me. I never felt like that fit me, but I also didn't feel like the word boy fit me either, right? So then, like, I grow up feeling this inherent sense of, like, I don't like myself, I don't know myself, I don't feel included, I don't feel represented in any way, I feel very isolated and ostracized, and even though people didn't even know they were doing that, like other kids in my class, it still felt like that was why they were doing it, right? So then I get to high school, right? And so I'm like making friends, and this is the advent of like when everybody and their fucking mom started getting Facebook, right? So then like I would feel like I would talk to people who were different. I would talk to people and I would be like, oh, like you have the same experience too. Like, how do you refer to it? And then like if I explained why I was feeling the way I was feeling, they're like, oh, okay, well, like, no, I understand what you're feeling. There are other people who feel that way too, right? But nobody ever forced a label on me. Nobody ever, like, presented it to me in a way that felt coercive, you know? And, like, believe me, I know what it feels like to be coerced into something. Like, I have never felt that from people who are in my own community, the LGBTQ community. What I have felt is coerced into feeling as though my feeling of sort of like not really fitting into either side of this dichotomy is wrong. I have been made to feel coerced into like, no, I have this set of genitals, I have this set of secondary sex characteristics, which means that I have to live this life according to this, this, and this. And that's coming from the right side of the aisle, right? That's coming from conservatives. This is what they are doing to people, not even just adults, but children too. Like, I'm converting your children to the gender cult. I'm transing them. I trans 5 to 10 kids every day. I'm putting tampons in the boys' bathroom and giving girls testosterone. Yeah, like it's like fucking, what's that TikTok sound where it's like, give me your money, and then it's like, ah, ah! You know, like that's what it sounds like. But no, like it's so crazy to me when they say gender cult, because like I understand how cults work. I know what cults are. I recognize the tactics of coercion and isolation and all of that shit. Like, even when I would talk to people and they're like, what you're feeling is, like, people may not understand what you're going through, they would never turn around and be like, I'm the only one who understands what you're going through. They're like, no, there are people, like, outside of your physical location that understand what you're going through. You're not alone, right? And it's I don't know, like, I have never had that experience. Maybe there's some people who have, but like the fact that they are presenting that as some sort of like universal experience, so like this is what all people do, this is how it goes, this is how, you know, like that's just not true. I'm sorry. They think it's some take over the world shit because they're projecting their behavior and mindset onto us. They would like us to kindly die in a ditch, so they think trans people who are just trying to vibe are trying to do the same. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Because like how do I articulate this? Like, even now, at the age of 26, like, I still feel like I don't belong on either one side of the dichotomy or the other. Like, I do not take any sort of HRT. I do not take any sort of I don't want to say hormone therapy, because that's not necessarily true. I take that to treat my chronic illness. But, like, I don't, they act like people are having meetings and creating online spaces like the fucking, what is it? Like, I can't even name a recent cult. What's wrong with me? They act like they're bringing people into these massive arenas and whipping them into an emotional fervor so they could take advantage of them, when that's just not happening. You know, like, the conversations that I had with queer and trans people when I was growing up, they were like my friends. You know, like, I'm just talking to my friend about like, oh, I had a shit day today. and here's why I think I had a shit day, and then that other person turning around and being like, yeah, no, I've been there, I understand what you're going through, you know, and it's okay. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I think the other thing too is like how often this goes hand in hand with things like the groomer narrative, because like all of the people who groomed me in a way that was meant to abuse and exploit me, those were all straight men. Like, I don't get that shit, man. I just don't get it. Hooded figures standing in a circle under purple candlelight. No, exactly. And they make it sound so cool too. To be standing in a circle and you're just like holding a candle and you're just like chilling in a circle. Like, God, I wish that were real life. I wish that I could do shit like stand in a circle with 3 or 4 people of the same age. Get everybody of my same age in one area so we could do one activity. Shit. But then the other thing too is like when they refer to equity, like what is the problem with all people being seen as equal? Because then they're like, oh, well, like then you want to acknowledge like these people don't have the same access to, yeah, and it's like, yeah, when you are a human being, you are no different than any other human being. But when you look at a human being under the system of patriarchy, under the system of white supremacy, under the system of classism, imperialism, colonialism, it is all those other systems that we have to look at and be like, this is preventing us from seeing other people as equal. You know, and they don't want to acknowledge that. They want to simultaneously acknowledge that racism exists for the purpose of taking advantage of marginalized communities, but they also want to say that it doesn't exist when those same marginalized communities ask them for help. You know, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Gender cult tribalism. Tonight we will plot to require every preschool read that one gay penguin picture book. Oh, yes. I actually, I went to the thrift store a while ago, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I found, last week tonight, John Oliver, a while ago when, I want to say this was 2018, 2017, something like that, they came out with a children's picture book about Mike Pence's bunny, and about how his name is Marlon Bundo, and they made it like the bunny is getting married to another boy bunny, and so it's like a cute little picture book, and I think it's like, Marlon Bundo's Day Out or something like that. I have it in hardcover, and like when I eventually get married and have children, I would love to read that to my kids, even if they don't understand what's going on. Like, I just love the art that's in it, you know, because it's just such a nice, cute story about like, oh, I like somebody, oh, we're gonna get married in the garden and all our animal friends are gonna be there. Like, I don't know. The cisgenders will rule. The cisgender's rule will soon come to an end. The power of Bunny Book. No, exactly. Like, the things that they are saying when it comes to something like children's books or something like that. Like, they act like there is some other invisible hand of the devil that is forcing its way into their children's minds. Like, I think there's actually a clip of, there's a political commentator on YouTube, his name is Luke Beasley. He was interviewing, oh god, what's his name, Forgiato Blow or something like that at a Trump rally. And so Forgiato, it's important because he came out with a song that was like boycott Target, and then that was right as Target was expanding its line of child-sized pride stuff, you know, so like baby onesies, little shirts, kids swimsuits with like the pride colors and shit like that. And so he's like, oh, they're targeting kids, right? So in this interview, Luke Beasley is like, he says to Luke Beasley, you know, like, oh, well, you know, they're too young to be learning about that stuff. And so Luke Beasley posed this question to him where he says, you know, okay, but like, what if this child has those feelings already? And like, all of this is just a book to help give context to the things that they're already feeling. Why is it wrong for them to understand what it is that they're feeling? And he's like, they're too young. They don't experience those feelings. But then at the same time, like, they will also turn around and say, like, make jokes about their 3-year-old son being like a lady killer or a heartbreaker or something like that. And it's like, if they're too young to be experiencing those feelings towards somebody of the same gender, why is it okay for them to be old enough to experiencing those feelings of somebody with the opposite gender? That's exactly it. Exactly. And it's just like, I don't understand. And because then the question becomes, he can't, Forgiato Blow cannot deflect that. He can't answer that question. Because then that means he has to acknowledge that he just hates gay people. Right? He just hates gay children. He hates gay people. And he doesn't want to acknowledge that because then people are going to be like, oh, well, you're a homophobe. It makes you look bad. Right? That's bad PR for him. So then he immediately deflects and he goes, oh, are you a pedophile? You like pedophiles? You're a pedophile? And then he's like, no, of course not. Right? And so then, as if to bolster this like ad hominem attack against Luke Beasley, Forgiato Blow pulls his phone out and he's like, let me show you pictures of the children's tucking swimsuit. Oh, there's an ad on the music. Give me a second. And so he's like, and then he just keeps repeating the phrase, they're tucking children's genitals, they're tucking children's genitals. And so Luke Beasley finally just turns around and says, why do you have pictures of children's genitals on your phone? You know, because he specifically saves, or he has pulled up, a photo of the swimsuit that has like a tucking pocket or something, and he keeps zooming in on like the crotch of the swimsuit. And Luke Beasley rightly calls him out for that. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And he's like, well, no, that's not what I have a picture of. And he's like, that's exactly what's showing me right now, though. That's like, why is it not okay for them to show a book just about like two kids holding hands who just happen to be two boys or two girls? Or like a little boy who's like, no, I'm a girl, like I want to wear a dress. Like, why is that not okay? But it's okay for you to be doing this shit. And he's like, you know, like he has nothing to say to that. Right? Because he knows in that moment that, like, he has no logical standing on which to continue making that point. Secondly, that was a Photoshop thing. Target never made that shit. Exactly! Exactly. And then Luke Beasley pointed that out. He's like, that was debunked. That was not... They didn't do that. And so he's like, yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And so, like, I just, like, that blows my fucking mind. Let me see if I can find the clip of it. Dear Google... I don't think it was when he did his own channel. I think it was part of a different channel. I think it was when he was still on Midas Touch Media. Is it this one? Republican? No. Okay. A month ago. No, this was older than a month ago. Let me see. Videos. Because it was in... let me see. Luke Beasley. Forgiato Blow. Yep, here it is.
I'm here with
Forgiato Blow.
And you recently released a song, right, about Target?
Yeah, Boycott Target went #1 on iTunes charts. Pretty cool stuff.
Heck yeah. And what motivated you to write that song?
I'm pretty much the evil agenda they're pushing on these children, right? So as I was just telling the man before, it's not like an anti-gay song. You know, it's an anti-putting children pride clothes with bathing suits where you could uptuck your genitals in.
But they didn't do that, right?
Target did do that.
No, that's been like debunked 30 times.
It's not been debunked. I've been in Target.
See, like, even though he is telling him that has been debunked, that is not true, you are operating on a false premise, he's still like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, like, there is no intellectual integrity within the space. You know, and even though he didn't, like, show him the article in real life, the fact that he can flash it up on the screen and be like, no, this is, like, debunked, like, it's been debunked multiple times. And the fact that it's not even Luke Beasley that shows up and brings in the words children's genitals, the fact that it's him is, like, I don't know.
Held it up.
It's for adults.
No, there's a children's side. You want to see right now on my stuff?
I promise that that's only in adult sizes.
It's not adult sizes. You want to see the children's stuff? I have it.
Yeah.
And they have books.
He's literally asking him, do you want to see pictures of children's genitals I have on my phone? Like, Oh my god. How are these the people who are morally and intellectually, like, they have moral and intellectual integrity, but nobody else does? Okay. And I get this is like a segue off of what we're actually supposed to be doing, but, you know.
Books for children, coloring books.
That are what?
LGBTQ pride.
What's wrong with that? Saying if you grow up to be gay or trans, then it's okay.
Push that on somebody in
not pushing.
fourth grade right now.
Like,
Why would you want to put that on somebody in third or fourth grade?
Is it pushing?
Do you like pedophiles?
Is it pushing? Absolutely.
See, and that's the other thing too, is that even when you I don't want to, no, that's not the right word. Even when you adequately, not debunk, but you rebut these people's talking points, they will turn around and immediately ad hominem attack. What are you, a pedophile? You know, oh, you like that? You like that? You know, like, it's the idea that, like, if you don't do what I say, you're wrong. And it's like, that has more to do with their personal view of themselves. They want to see themselves as individuals as righteous more than it has to do with, like, them actually being logically correct or morally sound. You know, and it's so obvious because when he's very calmly just saying to him, like, no, that's not true, he's immediately, like, getting loud, he's getting aggressive, or maybe not aggressive, he's immediately getting loud and getting in its face.
Absolutely not. Is it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is it pushing?
Somebody in third or fourth grade?
But aren't you saying that? Aren't you then inherently saying that means being gay is somehow wrong?
No, you don't know if you're gay in your third or fourth grade.
Right, and so it's not pushing. It's saying whoever you end up being, whether it be anything, musician, gay, straight, anything, you can be whoever you are.
Yeah, but they're not bringing coloring books and they're pushing like porn stars for them to.
See, and then he immediately turns around and says he's making a false equivalency. An argument of false equivalency where he's like, oh, well, if they can show two boys holding hands, then they can put tits in the coloring book. And it's like, no, dude. No one else is thinking about that but you.
Draw them naked.
Because that would be sex. Being gay is not inherently sexualizing anyone.
No, but bringing a drag queen to school in a bikini with her and her hanging out of her pants.
Right, so that would be called something that never happened.
Exactly. Like, he needs to be able to prove, if he wants to bring up pictures, if he wants to bring up receipts, whatever, he needs to be able to prove that happened. Like, with an unedited, unaltered photo for that to be true. But he's like, well, I don't have to prove that because I'm right.
It does happen. You don't watch it on TV?
You're saying in schools.
There is not.
That would be.
See, and even then he's like, well, he says, Luke Beasley, he says, well, that didn't happen. And then he goes, but it does. Meaning that, like, it is currently happening, therefore I can't give you things to prove that it's happening. But that retroactively means that it's correct when I say it happened in the past. And that just doesn't make any fucking sense. Damn it. I wish that on Postmates I could order my drinks without ice, because I let it melt and now it's all weird.
Be arrestable.
It's not arrestable. They're wearing their bathing suit tops, but you can still see their junk.
You got evidence of that one?
I have the whole world as evidence of that one, my brother. How much?
Do you think there's anyone? Do you think anyone? Biden, liberals, Clinton?
Do you think Joe Biden is a better president than Donald Trump?
Yeah, a lot.
Why can't Joe Biden get two people to come outside for him besides you and your little outfit?
In my little outfit. Hey,
you and your little outfit. I didn't see that part. Oh my god, that's the most schoolyard shit ever. You and your little outfit. Fuck off. Is it still? What are we doing? Okay.
Your outfit's nice too.
I got that swag. Number one hit in the world. Maybe this will go number one for you. I got more people on my side fighting the war than you do. Trust me.
See, and then he immediately equates it to, like, attention. Like, he's just out here doing his job, man.
For the 81 million people who voted for Biden.
Huh?
81 million people voted for Biden, so clearly there's a lot of support for him.
I know exactly what he did
vote
there.
For Biden, my brother.
You think it was stolen?
That's my least favorite thing when somebody is wrong in an argument and you turn around and say, like, he says, I got more people who support me than support Biden or something like that. And he goes, okay, well, what about the 81 million people that voted for Joe Biden? And he's like, huh? what? Almost like, no, I don't hear it, I don't see it, I could just pretend you didn't say that. It's so,
This right here is children's clothes, my guy. Celebrating Pride Month, these are
yeah,
children's
they're just
clothes.
shirts,
See,
you freak.
you told me tuck it.
No, all the Pride clothes.
You think any pride clothes are bad? Telling a child, hey,
Yeah,
whoever you are,
a kid doesn't
straight.
need to be wearing a shirt. If you say,
says
hey, my man,
a
you
rainbow.
think a kid in 3rd grade needs to be wearing a shirt that says Trans Life Matter?
No, sir.
Sure.
Let me tell you why.
See, and now
I wouldn't even pay for a Bud Light.
Thank you.
That connects somehow.
See, and then he's bringing in reinforcements as if to, like, bolster his point, because he can't adequately defend himself. Okay. Tangent over, let's get back to this. Let's see. Women, children, family. I just want to see the words. I don't give a fuck about what they're saying, like, actually coming out of their mouth. Women, children, and family. The left got very creative years ago and started using different words to make abortion sound less like murder. For example, see, even that is them making a declarative statement that abortion is murder. And it's like, okay, you need to provide me with proof of that. You need to provide me with proof that gives you the standing on which to make that claim. And they don't. They're just sort of like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Like, that's what it is. Accept it. And, like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't operate like that. And then expect people to take you seriously as, like, intellectually or logically. See, and then they list these terms that are sexual and reproductive health, reproductive rights, sexual and reproductive health services, when that's what it is. Like, you cannot say that abortion is not a reproductive rights issue when that it is an issue of reproduction. That just doesn't... They are the ones who are redefining what these words mean. They're the ones who are divorcing these words from their context, from their definition, from their meaning, in order to, like, spin it in a way that benefits them. And this is why so many people feel like, no, you people don't believe in science. You don't believe in there being any sort of, like, need for education or logical, having, like, a logically sound argument to say anything that you say. Like... Okay, let's see, what else? Is that it? I really just want to see, because this is a 49-minute video, I'm not... Okay, and so then they say the environment. So then they quote Bernard L. McNamee. McNamee? In the Mandate for Leadership, page 364, it says, in the name of combating climate change, policies have been used to create an artificial energy scarcity that will require trillions of dollars in new investment, supported with taxpayer subsidies to address a problem that government specialists just said, yes! Yeah, that happened! Like, the oil industry literally admitted to, like, fucking with data in order to, so that they could continue to make money. Like, I don't... They're literally, at that point, denying reality. Right? They're pretending that, like, that never happened and that the government has never done anything wrong in their whole life or in its whole existence. But then at the same time, this is present in a plan that is trying to dismantle the system of government, that's trying to dismantle the institution of the federal government. So, like, how are you saying that the federal government is not at fault for this, but then you're also like, but it sucks, so we're gonna get rid of it? That doesn't make any sense. Human rights and border security, the left narrative, undocumented immigrants, migrants. Okay, like that's what they are, though, right? Like, I don't...
To use words and phrases like undocumented immigrants and migrants. These terms are designed to sound softer and take the edge off the fact that these people are illegally in the United States.
How are those words softer?
It is important to note that they specifically avoid using the word alien, which is the terminology used in federal law. To be clear, alien is not a negative or pejorative term.
Yes, it is.
It is a legal term of art. It simply means that an individual is not a citizen of a particular country.
But they have words like that too. They have words like foreign national or something. Like, why is... Alien is absolutely a pejorative term. That's why nobody says it anymore. This is the paradox that I find that a lot of these people are in, right? Like, they think it's totally okay for the government to use certain words when it benefits a conservative viewpoint. Like, they're totally okay with the existence of something called Operation Wetback when it is pejoratively used against Mexican people, Mexican Americans, and shit like that. They're totally fine with that. They're like, well, that's what it was back then. We can't go back and change history. But then when people are like, no, we need to do better, and we need to not use that in the future, they're like, no. We love that one, actually. We love the pejorative racist shit. Let's keep it that way. Like, I don't understand that. When you refer to a human being as an alien, it is inherently dehumanizing, right? You are inherently referring to them as a non-human, as somebody who is not a human being and therefore undeserving of anything that American citizen people are deserving of. You know, like, that's why it's a pejorative. That's why nobody wants to use it anymore, because it's inherently dehumanizing. Like, and they're totally okay with that, right? Because they feel that if you were not born in America, that you're allowed, like, people are allowed to treat you however they want. And then at the same time, they claim to care about people who are trafficked, people who are being abused, people who are, being brought here from other countries against their will. They pretend to care about those people, when in reality they don't, right? So, we're at the gender cult now. Let's figure out what this is.
Use the word sex, or biological sex, or male and female. And I don't care where you are in the administration, you will deal with the word gender. Speaking of sex, the next phrase that we're going to talk about is sex assigned at birth. Now, I just told you to use the word sex, and you may think that sex assigned at birth, that sounds great. Well, actually it's not. It's the left's attempt to change biological fact and to try to normalize their belief that biological sex can change.
Nobody is saying that. Not a single person is saying that. What people are saying is that biological sex is something of, like, physical science, something that can be quantified and qualified, right? Gender is the way that we walk through this world. It is a social construct, right? Those are two inherently different things, because the entire world does not deal or does not view the words man and woman or male and female in the same way. Like, even throughout the history of America, like, the way that women are expected to behave in society, and I'm saying the history of America as opposed to the history of, like, pre-colonial America, the way that, like, men and women have been taught to present themselves and behave and occupy spaces in society is inherently different, right? Like, we do not have the same sort of, like, understanding of men and women that we did, like, in 1824 or something like that. Like, we understand now that women have organs the way that men have organs, But, like, even setting that aside, the way that, like, men and women function in cultures all over the world is not the same. And for us to pretend that, like, no, everybody behaves the same way, society is working on the same principles, it's all built on the same foundation, it is inherently wrong. Like, that doesn't make any sense for us to turn around and be like, no, well, we define it this way, and which means that's what it is. I feel like it's very, like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's America-centric, but it is, right? Because it is positioning America as, like, the intellectual superior to the rest of the world who doesn't define things the way that we do. And then we use that as a way to, like, push that on people who are in America, and I just... That don't make no fucking sense. Okay, so they're kikiing about that. Let's get to why they think people shouldn't be equal. How to identify and replace misguiding language. Read every single executive order. Be a part of the process that career employees are using to implement executive orders, inserting yourself into an implementation process. Yeah, so this is literally like them just saying, like, force yourself into these spaces with the intent of disrupting their administration, and then, like, force your viewpoint on other people. Like, how they feel that is a normal way to do a government, that is a normal way to govern people or to behave, is beyond me. Did we not get to the words? Did we not get to equity? Did I miss it? Oh, wait. How to identify? No. Oh, equity. Okay, here we go. This is Roger Severino and Mandate for Leadership. Oh, okay, so this is them quoting themselves. I realize that now. Okay. Under President Biden, the mission has shifted to promoting equity in everything we do for the sake of populations sharing a particular characteristic, including race, sexuality, gender identification, ethnicity, and a host of other categories. Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, all they're saying is that men and women are equal in terms of gender. Male and female is equal in terms of sex. Like, we are not going to say that one is better than the other, or that one is more deserving of rights than the other. Or they're saying that, like, oh, in terms of, like, race or ethnicity, all people are equal. We're not going to say one is better than the other or more deserving of anything than the other. Why is that a problem? Like, conservatives pretend to care and say that, like, you know, oh, we think all people are equal. The fact that you're fixating on race means you're racist. But, like, when they are saying, when liberals, leftists, progressives, whatever, are saying, you know, no, everybody is equal. That's why racism is a problem. Everybody is equal. That's why sexism and gender discrimination are a problem. Everybody is equal. That's why class discrimination is a problem. All of a sudden, you know, no, actually nobody's equal. It's actually so cool that those systems exist. And, you know, like, that doesn't, it's a fundamentally paradoxical system of beliefs, is what I will say. Is that it? That's all they said? It's just them quoting themselves and jerking themselves off about it? Okay, and then... Okay, so let's read Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts.
Courageously states, in the Mandate for Leadership, the next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, SOGI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, regulations, and piece of legislation that exists.
So, two things are important here, and the important things are that when they say any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights, they are effectively depriving Americans of their First Amendment rights, right? Because if you want to refer to yourself as cisgender woman or trans man or non-binary person, they are taking that right away from you for you to determine who you are for yourself. And that blows my mind, because this is the party that's all about personal freedom, right? I should be allowed to walk into 7-Eleven with no pants and no shoes. I should be allowed to shoot whoever I want. I should be allowed to do this, that, and the third. But then they're like, oh, well, when you want to define for yourself what you're allowed to do, you don't get to do that anymore. You know, like, if I want to say, like, no, I am a bisexual, agender, non-binary person, and that's how I see myself, that's how I define myself, that is how I choose to see myself, like, they're like, no, you don't get to do that anymore. Just because we don't think you should be able to. But then if somebody wants to say, like, if I want to say, like, oh, I'm a woman, then they're like, no, you need to meet X, this, that, you know, this, that, and the third sort of regulation in order for you to be able to say you're a woman. And, like, is that not the government overreach that they are so adamantly fighting against when it comes to things like allowing children in school to eat food? You know, like, that just blows my mind. And then, like, when they say things like woke culture warriors, what are you, like, you're acknowledging that there is a fight to be had, there is a fight going on, right, between one side or the other against some sort of institution or system, but you don't want to acknowledge why any of that is happening? Like, you're just gonna say it and leave it there? You're just gonna take a shit on the floor and walk away? You know, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And, like, that's just crazy to me that they are so deliberately obtuse, I guess would be the phrasing, because, like, if somebody were to say to you tomorrow, like, no, you're not allowed to refer to yourself as X, Y, and Z. You have to say you're this, this, and this, because the government told you to do it. that is a violation of your rights, right? That's a violation of your civil rights, your constitutional rights, your human rights, right? Like, they don't get to do that. But they're like, well, no, because we're Republican, we're the Heritage Foundation, we actually do. You know, and that doesn't make any sense. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, I guess we're coming to the end of this, because that's all I had for today. Yeah, I don't know. It is so uniquely, like, annoying and irritating, because, like, if you were to point out to them that, like, no, what you are doing is a violation of my First Amendment rights as a person, to refer to myself in a way that I choose to, they'd turn around and be like, well, no, you shouldn't get to refer to yourself that way at all, because those words are bad and evil. You know, and it's just like, no, I don't think so. Gaming. It's so frustrating. Yeah, no, it totally is, because then if you point out the cognitive dissonance of picking and choosing when it's okay for the government to restrict your rights, like, solely on a basis of, like, conservative, a conservative body of beliefs, like, if you're like, no, it's okay for conservatives to do it, just not leftists, just not liberals, just not those people, you know, it's inherently like an us against them. And I don't think I've ever felt that when it comes to, like, my own body of beliefs, right? I have never felt your rights make me uncomfortable. Yeah, exactly. Like, they feel that everybody having rights means that nobody has rights. And I feel like that is such a schoolyard fucking argument. Like, I remember being taught when I was little that, like, oh, if everybody's special, then nobody is special. You know, and it's just like, that's not inherently true, though. Like, you're not special in the same way that another person is special. You're not referring to yourself in a way that is unique, that is not unique to another person. You know, like, and then it's the other thing, too, of, like, they feel that, like, your rights as an individual, like, the fact that everybody else around them gets more rights means that their rights are somehow eroded, like, they get less rights, when in reality that's not true. Right? And if you read something like Bell Hooks and The Will to Change, like, when it comes to the domination model, it's like, you know, oh, well, if I don't have power over somebody else, then I have no power at all. And, like, I have to maintain that in order to maintain my sense of self, or something like that. And it's like, that is not the way society needs to work. That's not the way that individual relationships need to work. Right? Because The Will to Change is about men. The full title is The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and Love. But in it, she talks a lot about how these social dynamics of things like misogyny, sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, like, all of those things commingle with each other to create this domination model of, like, well, I have to be on top and you have to be on bottom in order for me to feel like a person. You know, because, like, I don't know any other way of how to do anything. And, like, that is what I feel that they're operating on, is, like, this domination model of being like, you know, no, well, like, I have to be on top as a Republican, as a white person, as a quote-unquote normal person, and you have to be on bottom because otherwise I don't know how to conceive of myself within this world. And, like, it's inherently, like, I don't want to say aggressive, that's not the right word. It is inherently dehumanizing and like, to the other person, because then when you factor in something like Simone de Beauvoir's theory of, like, the one versus the other, it is inherently like, you know, A versus B, 1 versus 2, you know, something like that is juvenile as fuck. Yeah, absolutely, it is. Because it's basically like, well, if I don't get it, nobody else gets to have it, or, like, I am the one who gets to decide everything, you know. And it's just like, that is not how society works, man. Maybe when you live as a single person under a fucking dome, but, like, when you live in a collaborative, cooperative society, that is not how anything fucking works. You know, like, and then it's also, oh god, what was I gonna say? I think I lost it. So Simone de Beauvoir's theory of one versus the other, she introduces it in her book, The Second Sex. It positions, and again, that's based more on, like, the idea of, like, sexism, misogyny, and things like that, but, like, it can be applied to a wide variety of other situations. The theory is essentially that, like, when one group defines itself in opposition to another group, it's like this group can't find liberation from this other group without this other group turning around and being able to define for itself what it is. You know, like, I think she defines it, like, the way that she explains it is, like, when it is applied in her book, The Second Sex, it is like, men are only defining themselves, like under patriarchy, men are only defined in relation to women and vice versa, right? So like, you can't bring those two apart without I hate saying that, sounds so, you cannot define those things separately under patriarchy. And that's why it's important to deconstruct patriarchy and institute a different system, a different classification of power within society. Because like, when you can't conceive of yourself outside of the context of another person, you're not really an individual, right? And when this is the party of people who want to see themselves as individuals, they want all people to be hyper individual, hyper independent, nobody depending on anybody, like, they still want to depend on these models that can't allow for individuality to exist. They can't allow for people to define for themselves who they are underneath this system, so they just sort of like rebrand it as like, oh, well, like, no, it's actually good that you can't conceive of yourself outside of this context. You know, it's good that you can't, like, and say shit like that. And like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, the fact that like you see yourself in that world is crazy. And then another thing that like comes up in Bell Hooks' book, The Will to Change, she's like, the domination model doesn't need to be the way that we organize society, does not need to be the way that we organize power in society, right? Because when you have power over somebody, you're taking their power away. And in reality, when you take their power, when you take power from somebody else, that isn't really your power, it's somebody else's. And your power depends on them being underneath you, right? So then, instead of taking power from other people, the way that the Heritage Foundation and a lot of conservatives want to do, what she institutes, or what she posits, is like this theory where you share power. Because then it's like, oh, okay, well, both of us combined have double the power that we would alone. Right? But conservatives don't want to consider that. They're like, no, we want certain people to have power over other people, and then we want to keep them in power by keeping the people whose power that they've taken, we want to keep them down. Right? And they don't see anything wrong with that. They don't see anything wrong with like men having power over women and then continually kicking women down. They have no problem with white people having power over other marginalized communities of race and ethnicity by kicking those people down. They have no problem with like people who are not disabled or chronically ill having power over people who are disabled and chronically ill by kicking those people down. They have no problem with that. But they know that everybody else has a problem with it, because when you explain it that way, it's like, oh, no, we shouldn't do that. They're just rebranding it. They're trying to make it seem like it's a good thing that that's happening. And that if you try to take that away, you're like somehow eroding the values of America. You're somehow eroding the values of Western society. And like, if that's what Western society in America is based on, maybe we should be changing shit up, you know? Like, I don't... asinine, stupid that all of these people are. Just fucking, ugh. Gross. Yeah, that brings us to the end of the stream. I didn't think we were going to be on for quite so long. But yeah, I feel good about that. I'm going to be on the lookout for things in the next week to bring to next Saturday. I'm hoping to shoot for 7 p.m. again. I feel like that's a good time slot. Yeah, I guess that's everything. Yeah, if you guys have anything that you would want me to react to, or you see something in, like, out in the world, or, like, you know, whatever, to send me to react to it, and so we can talk about it on stream, that would be cool. I believe my Twitter is linked on my Twitch account. I don't think I have messages open on my YouTube, but, you know, we'll see. Yeah, I guess that's it. I will see y'all next week then. I don't know if there's anybody that I can raid. Let me see. Oh, this is all different now. Okay, stream manager. Oh, okay, there we go. No! No changes were made to your existing info. Yes, I know. Yeah, Ethan's online. We'll raid Ethan.